All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Man, the 49ers may regret losing out on Adam Peters. Peters is doing some amazing things in free agency. We'll talk about that coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle. We're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass, marinautoglass.com, and Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. Call Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264. Well, the 49ers had Adam Peters as their executive. He was an assistant to John Lynch. A lot of people said Peters was one of the key cogs that the Niners had, and was a huge loss when the Commanders came, led by Bob Myers, and stole him away and made him the general manager of the Commanders. Well, look what Adam Peters has done in a couple of days in free agency. Now, the Commanders have a lot of money left, a lot of money to spend, and they traded Montez Sweat, and they traded Chase Young, and they kind of gave up late in the year. They had a lot of cap room and a lot of needs, but look what they've done in a very short amount of time. Now, everything is going to be predicated for them this offseason on how well Adam and Dan Quinn, the new head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury, the new offensive coordinator, handicap the draft. Who are the Commanders going to take with the second pick in the draft? Are they going to take Jaden Daniels? Are they going to take Drake May? Are the Bears going to wind up not taking Caleb Williams? Do they wind up having Caleb Williams fall into their lap? So what they do with that second pick is going to be really pivotal because they don't have a quarterback. But man, Adam Peters has done an amazing job at building this team up around the quarterback. Let's just go through and take a look at what he's done so far in free agency, because it's pretty amazing. Nick Allegretti, the Chiefs left guard who played the final 3 quarters of the Super Bowl with a torn UCL ligament in his elbow. They signed Allegretti, who's smart, tough, physical, one of our favorites. 3 years, $16 million. He only has 13 career starts, but they're going to start him at left guard. Allegretti's as tough as it gets. So you added a big, smart, tough, Super Bowl winning, 3-time Super Bowl winner, left guard, and Nick Allegretti. Great signing. Great signing. I mean, this guy is going to absolutely provide leadership and toughness. And, there's just so much to like. Okay, then they go from that one to Tyler Biadasz, the Wisconsin center who's playing with Dallas. Another great pickup, taking him away from Dallas, solidifying your offensive line in front of your rookie quarterback. Really good move. Then they went with Austin Eckler, who comes over from the Chargers, and they got him at a reasonable price. I mean, he's not being paid that high of a price. So you've got Allegretti on your offense, Biadasz on your offense, Austin Eckler on your offense. Then they added Marcus Mariota, so they don't have to play the rookie quarterback right away. They can go with Mariota. So that was a terrific signing. Then they re-signed Jamison Crowder, who's one of the better slot receivers going, re-upped him to a reasonable deal. Then they said, you know what? We have a bad kicker in Joey Sly. Let's replace him with a good kicker. They signed Brandon McManus, the place kicker, 1 year, $3.6 million. If that's all they did, that would be incredible. That's already a lot to get done in free agency in 2 days. But that's just on one side of the ball. Let's talk about the other side of the ball. Dan Quinn is a defensive coach. They got Bobby Wagner on a 1-year deal for $8.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. Why? Because Bobby Wagner knows Dan Quinn, and Bobby Wagner knows Ken Norton, and Norton's the linebacker coach, and Quinn's the head coach. And Bobby's like, hey, let me go play for those guys. And if that's all they did on defense, that would be incredible. But there's more. They added Dorrance Armstrong from the Dallas Cowboys, 3 years, $45 million. Dorrance Armstrong's a really good edge rusher and can get after the quarterback. Then they added Dante Fowler, also from Dallas. So they're shopping off of teams in their division. They picked off Dante Fowler, another good veteran pass rusher. I didn't even mention the other offensive player they signed. They also got Zach Ertz, the veteran tight end, who was trying to debate who he wanted to play with late last year. He decides to go play for the Commanders, and he'll be on the Commanders next year. Then they got one of the most underrated players in all of free agency in the Carolina Panther linebacker, Frankie Louvu. And they got Frankie for 3 years, $36 million. This guy is a dangerous blitzer. He was dominant the last couple of years at Carolina. I mean, this guy will shoot gaps. He will attack the quarterback. He's a great blitzer, a really underrated linebacker. That's a terrific ad. Absolutely terrific ad, Frankie Louvu. Then they signed Jeremy Chin, who's one of the most versatile linebacker safety players in the game. He can be a nickel corner. He could be a safety. He could be a weak side linebacker. And they got him for 1 year at $5.2 million. So now you got Jeremy Chin added to the mix. Then they signed Cleveland Farrell. Are you seeing the endless parade of free agents here? Cleveland Farrell comes into the mix, the Niner defensive end who's really solid against the run, and he's not a star by any stretch. And then they re-signed Jeremy Reeves, the safety, and they have more money to go do stuff. So, wow. That's all I'll say. That's an impressive start to free agency for the Commanders. And the Commanders have a lot of work to do to get, I mean, they don't even have a quarterback. We don't even know who their quarterback is. And, it wasn't like they didn't lose a player. They're going to lose Cameron Curl. They're going to lose Gibson. Gibson, the running back, left. So they have Eckler, but they lost Gibson, Antonio Gibson. So it's not like they didn't have any defections, and it's not like the Commanders are going to the Super Bowl. But, man, they really did a nice job along their offensive line. They did a really nice job at just kind of filling in with some quality football players. And that's going to be a far deeper and better football team than they were this year. So amazing get by the Commanders and Adam Peters. And I think Peters is going to be missed sorely here in San Francisco. All right, let's get a word from our sponsor. The sponsor of today's video is Aura. Have you ever typed your name on the internet and seen all of your private information is online? Are you tired of receiving tons of spam calls from random numbers? Are you receiving more and more of these as time has gone on? Well, that's where Aura, the sponsor of today's show, can really help you out. Data brokers sell your information to scammers and spammers and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, your email, your home address, all your records, your health records, who your relatives are. It's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use the information to help them access my social media accounts, my bank accounts, or any other sensitive information. Aura also does so much more to protect me and my family from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up. And best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to the link in the description to start your 2-week free trial. And thanks to Aura for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Man, 14 or 15 key free agent signings by Adam Peters. I don't know if Peters is going to be a great GM in Washington, but man, 2 days in and their team is dramatically improved, largely because of the signings of this young GM. I think the Niners are going to miss Peters. I'm not saying that he was the key to the entire operation, but he's a good evaluator. And I think you're going to see that with the way the Commanders or where the Commanders go from here. Dan Quinn, I don't know what kind of a coach Dan Quinn really is. Is he a good coach, an okay coach, a bad coach? Time will tell. But he is going to have a really good roster over the next couple of years. to play with because Adam Peters knows personnel. All right, thanks to Underdog Fantasy, or thanks to Pig in a Pickle and Marin Autoglass, and thanks to Aura, and thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.